Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And a lot of you have been asking me this question recently. I've seen it in the comment section. You guys have emailed me, sent me private messages. And just to kind of summarize what many of you have been asking, what's going on at AT&T? That's the main question that I've been getting. What's happening right now? They're quiet. They're not talking. They don't seem to be moving at an urgent pace. And for most of you, this is in regards to C-band. Not necessarily the company overall, but a lot of people are concerned that they're not hearing much about C-band. AT&T hasn't made any public statements on a launch party or any launch for that matter. We don't even know if they're launching publicly, officially confirmed. We don't know if AT&T is even launching on the 5th. I can tell you from what I'm hearing, their launch is indefinitely delayed. How long that is, I don't know, but that's what I'm being told. That's what I'm hearing from several different people. That's what the individual market managers are being told, to hold off on the launch indefinitely until the FAA issue can be figured out. That's what I'm hearing. So, again, AT&T is quiet. When will they speak up? When will we see a more urgent pace? And that's why I pulled up this article from Seeking Alpha. It's a bit older, December 28th. But greater gains await as the Warner Media spinoff approaches. So the second half of this year is when that spinoff is expected to be completed. And that's when I think AT&T will start speaking up. I think from now until then, they will relatively be quiet. I think they will show up to the conferences that they need to show up to present. I do think, of course, they will have their quarterly earnings. They have to by law. And they will present their numbers. I do think they will carry that momentum for the next several quarters, and they will take the growth that they can get until T-Mobile can get that Sprint churn under control. I think AT&T will continue growing in the meantime, and they will continue that momentum. What I think is interesting is after that spinoff, that CapEx that they increase to will increase the CapEx intensity throughout the company, and that will bring more CapEx competition to the market. Verizon will likely have to keep their CapEx higher, and T-Mobile may have to increase their CapEx to compete. T-Mobile spends significantly amounts lower. They did so as a standalone, and it's happening again as a combined company with Sprint. They're spending almost double the amount lower. So that means AT&T and Verizon can do more, not just on the network side. Security is one thing. Security, they can spend more capital dollars on security, having a more secured system. All of that comes from CapEx. So here's what I'm being told and what I'm seeing. So I have access to the North Texas Newsletter. They get sent out once a month with updates. Some updates consist of sites that just went live. Some updates consist of sites that are going live on a quarterly basis. Like, hey, we're expecting 3 sites to go live in Dallas in Q2. That's what those updates consist of, and it also shows CRAN as well for some markets. Now, what's interesting about AT&T and why they're so quiet? So because they're quiet doesn't mean they're going to stop deploying. They're still deploying. That company, AT&T, they just have so much work to do. It's insane. So even in markets, from what I'm seeing and what I'm being told, where they have leading market share, they're still behind on the densification to even, a T-Mobile and a Verizon in certain parts. There are very little markets where AT&T has actually adapted a densification to where you could say, okay, they're as dense or denser than the competition or the competitor in that given market. So to kind of point it out really quickly, where is AT&T getting ready to get really dense? Chicago is one, and the outer areas of Chicago too. That's one area where they're getting ready to get denser. And I've seen those plans. There's many fill-in sites that are going to be built. Dallas is another. They are the dominant player in terms of market share in that area and the surrounding areas. Fort Worth, Abilene, all those other markets leading up to Dallas, where they get a lot of tourists, a lot of people vacationing. There's just a immense amount of load in that entire area for Dallas, for AT&T, and they're behind on that densification. I've seen the larger scope of that newsletter in Dallas, and the amount of work that I'm seeing on that plan is insane. It would lead somebody to believe that AT&T has no network in that area and that they're building a brand new tower grid. That's how many sites in CRAN that are being packed into the metro area of Dallas. I mean, we're talking 800 to 1,000 CRAN that are additionally coming on top of the CRAN that they're already building. So they are becoming a dense grid or a denser grid versus before, and never have been to the greater extent versus the share that they actually have in that market. Not just considering the people that live there, but also all the traffic that comes from the surrounding areas. It's just immense. It's crazy. And I thought that they were dense when I was there. I saw more AT&T towers within a given radius than I do here where I live in El Paso. But I saw the map, the layover map that the carriers have internally, and it's not close. I mean, T-Mobile has them beat big time on the macro density in Dallas, and Verizon in the more metro area of Dallas. They're dense there too. They beat them out. I think they started beating them out on density in like 2018, 2019 from what I saw when I was shown the progression. Now, Arlington and the surrounding areas, Verizon does struggle a bit, but in the more metro Dallas area, downtown and such, they are beating AT&T on densification. And of course, T-Mobile mops the floor with AT&T in that market in terms of densification. So again, quiet period right now for AT&T. Do not be expecting any huge news. If we do get a C-band launch date, I will inform you guys and give you an update. Maybe AT&T still decides to quietly launch C-band. That remains to be seen. But right now, from what I'm tracking and what I'm being told, is even in the markets where they are active, deploying the tranche 1 of C-band, and where the jobs are issued, they're not moving at the most urgent pace right now. So it's a little of both. It's the supply shortage that's bogging them down. It's shortage on tower climbers. I mean, if all the carriers, including now Dish too, Dish is building, have tons of money, they're going to need climbers. And if the jobs are already taken up, it's going to be tough to get those climbers to work for you. Like I said, there might be a case in terms of competition where, hey, if I pay you this extra money, can you put me, can you put me first? Can you put me at priority? So it will be interesting to see how this develops through 22 with AT&T. I think the second half of this year, the spinoff, once that's complete, AT&T will get real loud. I truly believe that. They'll get loud. They'll work on their marketing. They'll work on their brand image. Again, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't see publicly, but they're trying to fix it. They're trying to fix the back end. They're trying to develop the app, the My AT&T app. They're trying to get that ironed out and better. The online website, the .com. I mean, there's so much happening right now that they're trying to fix and upgrade. So let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about AT&T. Have you seen any major changes? I know they are solid right now. They don't really have that urgency towards C-band because they've been vigorously adding LTE carriers since 2017. So in some markets, they have 5, 6, 7 carriers on air, and they're doing 300-400 megabits a second in some cases. But on a larger scale, they do lack that densification. They lack even the small cell footprint needs to get deeper. So they got a lot of work to do. Will they do it? I think they do. The second half of this year with the higher capex, I think you'll just start seeing it accelerate, and all that macro and the CRAN will start flowing in. But for now, expect AT&T to remain quiet. They've been very quiet, actually. Very, very quiet. Too quiet, in my opinion. But let me know in the comment section down below how you feel. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets, especially the Twitter. I do post the videos on the Twitter the second they go live. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.